What it do, Sober Soldier salute. This is Stick from Dead Prayers with my partner, M1. And you are in tune to gotkushTV.
There was empires in Africa called Kush, Timbuktu, where every race came to get booked. My success to you, even if you wish me the opposite. Sooner or later, we'll all see who the prophet is.
Achomi na jelig bojo kwe ni biane nyenko gotkushTV nyeyiradon. My name is Na Jelig Bojo Kwe, and right now you're watching gotkushTV. Thank you.
Okay. What it do, Sober Soldier salute. This is Stick from Dead Prayers with my partner, M1. And you are in tune to gotkushTV.
There was empires in Africa called Kush, Timbuktu, where every race came to get booked. My success to you, even if you wish me the opposite. Sooner or later, we'll all see who the prophet is.
Achomi na jelig bojo kwe ni biane nyenko gotkushTV nyeyiradon. My name is Na Jelig Bojo Kwe, and right now you're watching gotkushTV. Thank you.
Mefele sama mina bakabusi negre mine pele obiama mina bakabusi negre mefele sama mina bakabusi negre mine pele obiama mina bakabusi negre mefele sama mina bakabusi negre mine pele obiama mina bakabusi negre mefele sama mina bakabusi negre mine pele obiama mina bakabusi negre mefele sama mina bakabusi negre mine pele obiama mina bakabusi negre mefele sama mina bakabusi negre mine pele obiama mina bakabusi negre mefele sama mina bakabusi negre mine pele obiama mina bakabusi negre mefele sama mina bakabusi negre mine
Special announcement. Entry for Kemi Seba live in London is now absolutely free. Kemi Seba live in London on the 22nd of April 2023. We bring you the Pan-Africanity Tour featuring Kemi Seba, one of the most dynamic Pan-African revolutionary organizers of our time. You saw him burning the CFA franc as a powerful protest against French neocolonialism. You saw him ousted from Senegal and Ivory Coast by governments fearful of his capacity to mobilize the masses. You saw him embraced by thousands in his home nation of Benin as he served the community in the face of the pandemic. Now we once again bring him live to London with the launch of his new book, The Fundamental Philosophy of Pan-Africanity, taking place Saturday, the 22nd of April from 1 p.m. at the Bridge Park Community Complex, Harrow Road, London, NW10 0RG. Book now on Eventbrite. The Pan-Africanity Tour featuring Kemi Seba. This is an event not to be missed. Tendai Mwadi, be thankful unto the Mother, Father, creative life force of the universe. Kudzai Muzimu Mukuru, give praises unto our great ancestors, Abibi Tumi, Abibi Fahodi, African liberation and African power for all African people. Yeah, we're there, you know what I mean? So, first of all, please give me a signal, signal the plane. And if you can hear me clearly, let me know so you can hear me clearly. You know what I mean? Because I want to make sure the people them can hear, right? Good. You know what I mean? So, first of all, bigging up to Julanda in the building, bigging up to Code Barber in the building, bigging up to Lead Clinton. You don't know, so when they are, so I want to just make sure people can hear me good. Let me just see if I get the signal through the mic and all them something there upon the levels. Yeah, so it look like I got a level still loud and clear. All right, big up to the Out of Noise podcast. You don't know, and if you're not subscribed to the Out of Noise podcast, subscribe to the Out of Noise podcast. Yeah, so when they are kings and queens, I'm multi-streaming on various different platforms right about now because little promotion we are do, on various different levels. But primarily, this is a gotkushTV production. And for those of you who are familiar with gotkushTV, you will know, that we've been about for a little while still, but we have not, been putting out regular content for a little while, and we're warming up again. We are warm up a little more, and so this is a part of the warm-up process. As a part of the warm-up process, I figured it would be good to create some kind of a show to have regular interaction with the audience, with the gathered strong. And so I'm committing to do this once a week. And as you can see, the interaction is called ZIVANAYI. ZIVANAYI. Now, as my brother Wab Funk in the building has rightly and correctly identified, this word ZIVANAYI is spoken in the Shona language, which is mostly spoken in Zimbabwe. You know what I mean? And it simply means getting to know, or let's get to know each other. And so it's really a live show that is based around interaction with the audience. So maybe every week I'm gonna come with something to start off the conversations, to start off the vibration, to set a foundation. But really and truly, at whatever point in the show we open up the line, you all will be able to come through and share your thoughts, your vibrations, raise topics, ask questions, and we'll have a bit of a discussion. So we'll see how long this show goes on for, in terms of like months, you know what I'm saying? Because we have some, pre-recorded and produced content coming, all right? But that's why I met the people them know, so when they are, and so for the next few months at least, we'll be doing this on a weekly basis. And at some point we'll set into a regular day, a regular time, and a regular slot, family. But for now, welcome, welcome, for the first ZIVANAYI session. And it's all well and good, kings and queens. Right about now, my life is really gearing towards, Saturday, yeah, because Saturday, well, there's a few different things coming up. Let me let you know what go on, yeah, in the world, in particular with in the life of ShakaRa, and the Pan-African community, UK, yeah. So first and foremost, I want the people then for know say this coming Saturday, yeah, as you can see with the banner at the bottom of the screen, we have the brother Kemi Seba, yeah, coming to the UK as a part of his World Pan-Africanity Tour. At the moment, him there, Spain, yeah. Before that, he was in Kemet. Before that, he was in Russia. After him leave Yassa, him gone to South America, yeah, you know what I'm saying? So there's a whole tour going on with the brother Kemi Seba. And for today, for those who are not aware of who Kemi Seba is, I'm going to be, giving you a little piece of information about who Kemi Seba is. And if you're in the UK, I implore you, yeah, if you're in the UK, I implore you to join us on Saturday to hear the brother speak, all right? And, because he's doing essential work within the Pan-African world. A lot of people want to know what is happening in the Pan-African world. And so we're trying to make sure that brothers and sisters have that information. And Kemi Seba is one of the leading global Pan-Africanists, particularly in the French-speaking African world. He was raised in France. His family is from Benin, and he now lives in Benin, yeah? And he became a household name in Senegal about a decade ago because he was organizing in Senegal and developing a movement against what is referred to as the CFA franc. And for his activism, he was removed from the nation of Senegal by the government and forces with therein. And so he now lives in Benin, and the fight is continuous. Yeah, we had the pleasure of hosting our brother at the end of 2019, just before the world going a lockdown. Yeah, in December 2019. And the interesting thing about that was when he left here, he went to the nation of Burkina Faso, delivered, had an event, amongst in front of a mass audience. And after that event, he and another brother were arrested. And so we in the UK, we organized a petition demanding the release of our brother. He was dutifully released following that. But it's very interesting, about the timing of that arrest. And maybe I'll go into that a little piece later on, all right? So as we get into certain things, feel free to ask questions in the chat. I'm going to share the link soon, and anybody who wants to come live, ask a question, raise a point, raise a discussion point, can feel free to do so, yeah? The only rules are we're not tolerating no shaggery on the platform, yeah? So I will reserve the right to dash anybody off who is not, adhering to the rules of quality control as it relates to gotkushTV, yeah? Some of you might be watching on my personal channel right about now. That's a different thing. This is gotkushTV, and so certain standards have to maintain, and so that is what we're going to be doing, all right? So any discussion point is valid, but we will have it in a certain spirit with a certain level of decorum at the site go. Yeah, so I want people to know, say Kemi Seba come, and we'll get more into that a little bit later on. All right, a little bit later on. However, after this event, I have the pleasure I was born and raised in the Al-Kebulan revivalist movement, and every first Sunday of the month we have Shumida, which is our African spiritual gathering. Yeah, and so I have the honor of delivering the message for the upcoming Shumida on the 7th of May, Sunday or Umoja Day, the 7th of May, and it's in line with Africa Liberation Day, which is the 25th of May. Yeah. And so leading up to Africa Liberation Day, we have various observances that lead up to Africa Liberation Day. And on another show, I'll tell you where the Africa Liberation Day events are taking place. All right. So I have the pleasure of delivering the message, and the message title is Uhuru Udongo, yeah, which is free up the land, yeah. In Swahili, that just means free up the land, you know what I mean? And so we're going to be looking at the importance of land on a political, a cultural and economic and a spiritual level. Yeah, so do come true, you know what I'm saying, do come true on the 7th of May at the Chestnuts Community Center, N15 5BN. Yeah, for more for more information, hit up alkebulan.org, alkebulan, ALKEBULAN.org. I should also say, regarding the Kemi Seba event, yeah, so it's absolutely free. All right, we were charging for it at one point, and so we've made those charges a donation system for those who wish to just donate. But it's free to come in. Yeah, just register on Eventbrite. Yeah, register on Eventbrite. You know what I'm saying, and you can come through. The event is at the Bridge Park Complex, Harrow Road, London, NW10. 0RG, yeah, and that's Saturday, this coming Saturday, the 25th of April. And this is important, yeah, because we're upon, you know, we're online at the moment, we're having online conversations, yeah, but when we come offline, we have to know it's a real work are going in the real world, yeah, that when we come offline, we are organizers, yeah, in organization, that we are institution builders. All right. So this is not just a debate thing. Yeah, we're not just come online for debate. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And all of these things. Yeah. You know, debate who knows what and who has the best information. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And that's well and good. There's a time for debate. And debate is an essential tool in sharpening our political, economic, spiritual, scientific orientation. All right. So we're not downing the importance of debate. But when we're done with the debate, and in fact, the best kinds of debate take place in the context of work we are doing. Yeah, in the context of the work that we are engaged in. And so I'm bringing you Kemi Seba as an example, and the organization Urgence Pan-Africaniste, which translates as Pan-African Emergencies, as an example of real work that is taking place in the global Pan-African world. Urgence Pan-Africaniste is an organization that has branches in Ivory Coast, in Benin, Senegal, Congo, yeah, and probably a couple other nations. All right, and we're collaborating because I am, as well as being a member of the Al-Kebulan Revivalist movement, a member of the Black Star Action Network International. And so when you come, you're going to be hearing about some of the work of the Black Star Action Network International, which has bases in the USA, Sierra Leone, the UK, and Liberia, yeah, and Gambia. All right. And some of the work that is taking place globally with the Black Star Action Network International, aka Basani, and the Be Clean campaign, as well as the Tools to Seize program that we have, the former being a sanitation and community upkeep program, and the latter, the Tools to Seize program, being an agricultural program that we have currently running in Sierra Leone. All right. So do stay tuned, yeah, for more information on all of these things, because we have to use our media platforms to profile not just opinions, not just debates, not just information, but work, organization that is taking place in the global African family. I wonder if you no overstand and feel when me I say right about now. Yeah, I wonder if you no overstand and feel when me I say right about now. Yeah. And that when they're right about now, kings and queens. I don't know, joke business are going. There is serious work taking place in the African world. And there is a whole heap of confusion about Black nationalism, Pan-Africanism at the moment. And we can debate it, you know, we can deliver the best kind of presentations breaking it down. But the best way to demonstrate what it is to demonstrate it in practice. Yeah, to demonstrate it in practice. So if you want to come down on Saturday, the link is in the description to this video, wherever you're watching it. The link is in the description to this video to book your space. Book now, you know, because the ticket them soon done to reggae. Yeah. The ticket them soon done, yeah, because obviously we got venue restrictions in terms of capacity. All right, so we can't make the whole of London come down. You know what I'm saying? Because we are gonna get shut down, yeah. So book a ticket soon because them are go fast, yeah. When I tell you, brother Kemi Seba is a very, very popular activist, and many of you may not know who he is because we there in the English-speaking world, and he speaks French fluently. He can speak, you know, a good level of English, and maybe a little bit later on, I'll play a bit of the video from when we hosted him in 2019. But we will have a translator, yeah, on the day, translating from French into English, because that's some of the work that we have to do also, okay? You know what I'm saying? Bridging the gap between Africans that speak different languages, yeah? And at the moment, you know, that's going to significantly be around colonial languages, but, you know, we have to overcome that too and get into returning to our tree and our Kiswahili and our Kikongo and our Kikuyu and our Zulu and our Dinka, yeah, and our Mande, etc., etc., etc. languages. You know what I mean? So that, you know, our language barrier at least will be enough one African language to another, and then we can develop common African languages and so on and so forth. But colonial languages is a major contradiction, that colonial languages are and continue to be a barrier between African communication. So that with the pan kings and queens, I hope on the overstand. For those who are just reaching in, I want to say big up to Lady Divine Inna the building. Yeah, I've already bigged up Wafunk, big up Ali Kalon, big up Setem Hotep Makeru. You know what I'm saying, over there in the Caribbean, kings and queens. You don't know. Outer national, yeah. And yeah, man, you share the link far and wide. I should have said this already. Hit the like button when you come through, yeah. Make sure, please hit the like button and spread this good black nationalist, pan-Africanist energy all about the place. Bigging up 10-9 Wardy, Kimani, Hibbert, you don't know. You know what I'm saying? Ghana, Jamaica, in the building. Yeah, all you mean? You know what I mean? So yeah, I hit that kings and queens. Yeah, hit the like button. Hit the share button, share it far and wide. And I'm gonna share the link here now, yeah, to join the conversation. Yeah, no obligation, but you can either join the conversation by coming live or you can ask a question. Yeah, so if you hit that button right now, give me a sec. I'm not gonna bring it through straight away because I want to just introduce the family to brother Kemi Seba. This video that I'm about to play you is a few years old, but it gives you an idea of some of the things that have been happening on the African continent, yeah, over the past few years. You know, the funny thing is, I was in a conversation with some brothers the other day, and a brother ventured to suggest to me that Africans on the continent are not fighting against the neo-colonial systems, yeah, that have been imposed on brothers and sisters on the continent, the systems of political and economic exploitation and oppression, yeah. And it's interesting that was said because the brother really was just given expression to his ignorance, yeah, in the sense of the fact that he's making a broad statement about something simply because he doesn't know, okay, simply because he doesn't know. And so because he doesn't know, he assumes that it doesn't exist. But also, yeah, the fact that he doesn't know is a lesson for those of us who are in media in terms of promoting and projecting what is actually taking place in the black world and creating platforms that are able to spread news, yeah, worthy news. All right, so you know, hopefully, yeah, we are going to be developing this platform into such a platform, into such a space, yeah, that can bring together these voices and inform our people worldwide about work, organization, and resistance that is going on anywhere African people are. All right, anywhere African people are, yeah. And so I should also say that on the 22nd of April, brother Kemi Seba, for the first time, is publishing a book in English. Yeah, all of his other books are in the French language, but he's publishing this book in English. Okay, and it's called The Fundamental Philosophy of Pan-Africanity. He's basically breaking down his ideological and organizational foundation. All right. And so yeah, you know what I'm saying? Check that out. You can get a copy of that book and get it signed if and when you come to the event. I encourage everyone to come to the event because not only will Brother Kemi Seba be in the house, but Pan-African organizations that are operating in London will also be in the house and delivering solidarity messages. All right. So I'm gonna share this a snippet of this video with you so you can get a feel of, you know, wagwan around here. All right. Hold on there.
These Beninese youths are burning CFA franc banknotes to contest the use of the currency in Africa decades after independence. The banknotes have been burned as a sign of support to Kemi Seba, a Franco-Beninese activist in Dakar, who was arrested for burning a CFA franc banknote. The CFA franc is actually two currencies which serve different parts of the region and have separate central banks but tend to trade together. We must do all it takes to ensure that the CFA franc is abolished forever.
So for those who may not be aware, let me explain something to Uno, yeah? The CFA franc, all right? The CFA franc. What is the CFA franc? The CFA franc is a currency, yeah? That basically a neo-colonial currency that was imposed upon African nations in the 1960s and 70s, yeah? And to cut a long story short, France wanted to hold on to its colonies. And one of the ways in which it did this is to create economic conditions whereby African nations, yeah, that were formerly colonized by France, signed what was called a continuation of colonialism pact, yeah. And one of the aspects of this was that the French would control the currencies, yeah, of their former colonies. All right. So currently there are 13 African nations in West and Central Africa who have the CFA franc as their currency. The currency is printed in France. Yeah, it's controlled by the French central bank. It's tied to the French euro, and through this currency, the French are able to have a significant influence over the economics of the African nations that have this currency. All right. So consequently, collectively, these 13 African nations are paying over $500 billion annually into the French central bank. Yeah. And if they want to access that money for anything to spend it on on whatever nation they're a part of, they have to apply for a loan. So effectively, they're paying interest on money that is already theirs. Okay. And so this is cutting a very long story short. Yeah. Brother Kemi Seba also has a book on this, and there's some research that you can do on the CFA franc also. Maybe if I got some time, I'll read you an article that I also wrote on the CFA franc. All right. And so recent years, I should actually say in the 1960s, yeah, the nation of Togo had a president by the name of his name's got up my head. Olimpo Sylvian. I think it's something there. Sorry, his name got my head anyway. But he after agreeing to this arrangement began to print Togo's own currency, Sylvian Olympio. Yeah. Began to print Togo's own currency. Yeah. And when he began to do that, he was assassinated. Okay. In the nation of Guinea, Baba Sekou Touré refused to sign the agreement, totally refused to sign the agreement. And basically the French mash up everything in the nation before they left, yeah, after Guinea was made independent, okay? And they waged economic warfare against Guinea, for the entirety of Baba Sekou Touré's premiership, okay? So this is a significant, long-standing issue. And so what happened is this particular news report was published. Let me just get the year correct. So this is 5 years ago, yeah, in 2017. Okay, 2017, yeah. And what happened is Brother Kemi Seba burned franc, yeah, a CFA franc note in protest, yeah, in Senegal, and he was imprisoned, yeah, for doing so because obviously he was upsetting the neo-colonial relationship between the French government and the Senegalese government, and the people in Senegal were rising up. What happened is this protest that you see here is not actually in Senegal. This protest is in Benin. So when Brother Kemi was arrested in Senegal, protests kicked off in a number of other French-speaking African nations. Yeah, and this news report is dealing with what happened in Benin. So you hear the brothers and sisters saying, "We are Kemi Seba, je suis Kemi Seba." Yeah, my small French. All right, and so that's what's taking place here. I also wanted to explain that. Set Imhotep, I see you. I'm gonna come to you shortly, but we're gonna take in a little piece more of this.
Kemi Seba will be grilled by the investigating judge on Tuesday in Dakar. Activists have promised to extend protests to various African countries if he is not freed.
Kemi
Seba will keep on suffering if he remains in prison. The more he stays there, the more the anger of the youth will increase, which could take the fight to another dimension. So I say either the CFA franc should be abandoned with the help of authorities in place, or better still, our leaders should stand against it and be removed from power alongside the CFA franc. Kemi Seba risks a 5-year jail term if found guilty.
So yeah, when Brother Kemi came over here, he spoke about his experience in jail. He also went into the circumstances of him being deported from Senegal, and him residing now in Benin, where his family come from. Yeah, but the work still continues, kings and queens. All right, so that's a little flavor, yeah, of the man that is coming to us on Saturday. All right. The link is in the chat, family. The link is in the chat. Yeah. So feel free. ZIVANAYI. Yeah. For those who are just coming in, the word ZIVANAYI in the Shona language means let's get to know each other. Let's know each other. So we're socializing. Yeah. This is a platform to facilitate interaction with the audience, the gotkushTV audience, and we're facilitating this as we build up and gear up to get back to regular scheduled programming, as they say. I figured it would be good just to create a platform just to interact with the audience. Yeah, you can let me know what you want to see from the platform, and we can share also what we're coming to do, what we're coming to build. Got some beautiful things on the horizon, kings and queens, and so I'm in some significant planning stages right about now, and I just want you to know that we're here. Yeah, so that when we launch our proper, you're fully in tune. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You know what going, and you're ready. Yeah, I should also say, family, if you want to support gotkushTV, because obviously man needs to keep the economics of the institution flowing. So if you want to support gotkushTV, many have asked this over the years. We have a Patreon account, yeah, and there will be perks coming to the Patreon at some point. There are no perks at the moment. The only perks is if you support, you're gonna get more from us. We can buy some new mic and some new camera and some new computer, yeah, you know what I'm saying, and all them thing there. And help to up the quality, up the staffing, and up the programming for the platform, kings and queens. All right, so do stay tuned. At the moment we're releasing some stuff that we haven't released yet, some stuff that we've got in the archives that we haven't released yet, so do stay tuned for more on these things. Yeah, so check out gotkushTV's Patreon if you want to support the platform and give a monthly contribution towards your black media institution. We put the power in black media. The link is in the chat if you want to come live. Yeah, if you want to come live, the link is in the chat, or you can just use the chat, comment, what I'm saying, a lot of these things, if you want to interact with us that way, ask a question, feel free to do so. Setem Imhotep, how you doing, King?
I'm well, brother. Honored to be here again. Peace to you, peace to the family.
Yeah, man. Over there in Trinidad, Trinidad in the building. You know what I'm saying? You don't know.
Sir.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
We
man.
everywhere, you know, it's always our Chinese somewhere, eh? So
True. True. You know what I mean? You know. So what you want to say to me today?
a few things actually I was trying to write them down while the video was playing, so my mind
Okay.
isn't so scattered, right? So
Yes.
the
Yes.
first one, today is actually a real blessed day for me. I went and picked up what they call a deed poll, which is basically me changing my name with the state. So
Yes.
I have now erased all my European names and well, I rock Kemetic names for now. Because
Okay.
I ain't initiated in my traditions as yet. So I don't want to rock the names I've been given as yet.
Yes,
So
Yes,
that's what I just shared that with you fam, because I'm real happy, you know.
Yes, I give thanks. Congratulations, King. You know that's a very important step. You know what I mean? In the sense of the fact that you know my father. You know, I have never had a European name. Yeah, and the reason for that is because when I was conceived, yeah, my father did the same thing. Him do the deporting, and ensured that all of his African names were reclaimed. Yeah, he used the term reclaim. You know what I'm saying? African name. And so because of that, I've never had a European name. So I'm very familiar with that process. And so congratulations, my brother. You know what I'm saying for that. It's a good announcement to hear. And when you're ready and all the initiation them take place, feel free to come and share the powerful name them with we. We look forward to hearing them. You know what I mean?
I share. Well,
I share.
hopefully they will be the same as the ones I've got already. But
All right.
enough about me for now. Let me say that, right?
Yes, sir.
So I also have been trying to get my dad, who lives in the UK, to take in a lot of your material. And he has been.
Right.
And because of that, I wanted him to come to see you guys. But the
Right.
last evening that I think you were having was in London. And when I told him, well, he lives in Ashford. So he said that
Okay.
that's a whole weekend hotel trip. Well, I don't know the geography of England well,
Yeah.
but it sounds like it's real far. You think?
Yeah,
So I just
I can't even picture where Ashford is from London right about now, but yeah, it's not it's far, yeah.
somewhere in Kent. I don't know what
Yeah.
that means, but somewhere
Which
in
is
Kent.
not it's oh yes, that Ashford, because there's two Ashfords. So yeah, Kent is not a million miles away, it's south of London. Yeah. It's not a minute, but yeah, it's a journey. It's a journey still, you know what I mean? It's a journey, you know.
Right. So, well, on his behalf, I was just asking if you guys would have been any closer to Kent anytime soon, so I could send them come see
Okay.
you.
So the thing is, like people that some people they live in Kent but they work in London, so it's not too. It shouldn't be that difficult for Pups to get. He could have come to London and go back to Kent in a day, really. You know what I'm saying? Like it should be possible. I don't know what Pups is travel restrictions are, whereas treating our car and them thing there. But yeah, it shouldn't be too difficult. But yeah, anyway, him can make it the decision for himself still, you know what I'm saying? But I will see. I don't know if we're gonna be going to Kent anytime soon. But if he wants to access us in Kent from London, it shouldn't be too hard for him to do so. I can say that to you. Yeah.
I bet. All right. So that was two.
Yes, I.
Um, Third about me, and then the last one, which is not about me, so we can touch any conversation for the audience.
I.
Um, how can man join UNIA UNIA is here in Trinbago? Because I really want to be a part of cross-continental organization,
Yes,
but I
I.
have literally no idea where to start or how to start. I have no
All
contacts,
right.
no nothing.
We'll have that conversation offline. Yeah. So stay tuned. Yeah. Let me talk to the elders them, because I know they're working out some of those things at the moment. And so I promise you I'll get back to you. Yeah, soon. About the UNIA. But what I will say to you, as far as the Caribbean is concerned, the person that you need to connect with is Mama Chenzira Kaina. Yeah. She's from the Virgin Islands.
Please spell that in the back chat for me, please.
Yeah. I'll put it in the back chat for you. But yeah, she's the person that you need to connect with mostly. So she is on the High Executive Council, and people who are listening, make sure you check out Chenzida Kaina. I'm gonna put that name in the main chat also, so people know who Mama Chenzida Kaina is. Yeah, 'cause she's making a lot of the moves as far as the UNIA ACL in the Caribbean is concerned. All right, Chenzida Kaina. She's a doctor as well. And yeah, man, that's a powerful African woman, you know. So we give thanks for her. But yeah, so check her out and connect with her. I mean, I don't know if it's on like Facebook or them thing there, but she's on social media, to do check her out.
Yeah, I do have a Facebook account. I don't frequent Facebook anymore, but I mean, I can just use it to.
Yeah. All
And
right,
actually,
cool.
you just reminded me of something else. Sorry, let me gather myself because I didn't write this one down. I I was it what I'm looking for. Fortunately, came into contact with a member of the NJAC. I don't know if you know what NJAC is in Trinidad and Tobago.
The NJAC sounds familiar, but I can't figure what it means. But yeah, break it down.
Action Committee. They were at least a big part of the instigation of the insurrection, the 1970 insurrection in Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yeah, go ahead.
It's just that whenever you came to Trinidad, I wanted to put you in contact with them as well.
Okay.
Because they are a Pan-Africanist organization, at least so
100.
they claim to be. So I wanted, if I could put you guys into contact, it would just benefit all of us for you all to have that connection.
Definitely. And you know what? It may be a thing whereby we need to even connect them dots before me even reach Trinidad. So for example, we've got the month of Messiah coming up, yeah. Well, in the 8th month for this year, we are celebrate Marcus Garvey and the UNIA ACR. But there's some conversations that we need to have with brothers and sisters who are doing works in the Caribbean. So we might need to link that up even before then, because this is for those who may not be aware, this is the 40th anniversary since the October this year is the 40th anniversary since the assassination of Maurice Bishop and the implosion of the Grenada Revolution. So there's some significant conversations that need to take place around that and informing our community about the significance of the Grenada Revolution and the assassination of Maurice Bishop, which was in October of 1983. Okay, so do stay. Yes, I'm gonna hit you up again, King, and we'll link on that. Give thanks for that.
I bet you still have my email address, or should I?
Yes, I have it. Don't worry about it.
And then the last thing which I did right now, you spoke about, well, not necessarily a unifying African language, but that we need to be able to cross the language barriers.
Yes, sir.
On the continent and in the diaspora.
Yes, sir.
So that we can communicate with one another, right?
Yes, sir.
People laugh about this, but I actively want us to revive the Kemetic language, bro. Like, I feel like it can't be that difficult, Number one, I don't want to take your platform. So the Jews have said that they have revived their language.
Mm-hmm.
Hebrew, what we call Hebrew now, is a so-called Semitic language, which is supposed to be a branch of the Afro-Asiatic language.
Yep.
One assumes, and I'm not a linguist, but one assumes that the fact that they are grouped together means that they have certain syntactical or grammatical or construct. I think the word is lexicological or something like that. Similarities between the languages. So I'm saying if Hebrew can be reconstructed, and we have Hebrew, and we have Arabic, and we have Aramaic, and we have Coptic, most importantly, what is difficult about us not even necessarily reviving it, because I don't think Hebrew, what we speak now, is the same as the Hebrew that they spoke before. I'm saying there's no reason that we can't utilize what we know about the language and create grammar.
Recreate.
You understand? Right. And create something for us to speak with each other for.
Yes, sir. All right. So are you familiar with Baba Kwesi Pra?
Only from listening to your lectures.
Right. Okay. Because I did an interview with him on this very subject. And this is a long stages thing, and I'm even recalling debates that took place between African creative writers like Ayikwe and Chinua Achebe, Ngugi wa Thiong'o, and so on. Yeah, I think, in my humble estimation, the first stage is to prioritize the languages that people are speaking at the moment. Yeah. And Baba Kwesi Pra puts forward this idea also, because when you do that, you are also able to identify the connections between the languages that are already being spoken at the moment. Oftentimes, when them say, you know, Africa has 3,000 different languages and all kind of nonsense, these are European designations based upon European interactions with African people. They're not coming from, they're not being calculated based upon the African-centered, you know, center. All right. So there's that element of it. And then when you look at it from that perspective, the work of people like Kwesi Pra has brought to light the fact that what we call different languages are often dialects of between 8 and 12 root languages. Yeah. And so what they're doing with that is to develop shared, what they call orthographies, written systems within the language. Okay. Now, I'm saying all of that to say that even the Meduneta language of ancient Kemet connection to the Afro-Asiatic languages is in question. Okay. And that's coming out of the work of people like Baba Theophile Obenga and others. Okay. A lot of that is this attempt to try and take Kemet out of Africa. Okay. What linguists are looking at the moment, or African linguists are looking at, when I say African linguists, I mean linguists that speak African languages natively, are looking at, is the connection between Nile Valley languages and languages in the rest of Africa. Right? You see what I'm saying? So Bakonga and Wolof, yeah, and so on and so forth, yeah. And looking at the lexicon, the phonology, the morphology, the syntax, so on and so on and so on and so on, yeah. And using the existing African languages as a template for reconstructing Nile Valley ancient Kemet language. All right. And I'm not a linguist either, but I am very intrigued by the works of linguists, and so maybe my explanation just now doesn't do it full justice. Yeah, but I don't necessarily disagree with you. I think that that process will come when there is a demand, and those who want to do that work, you know, in the immediate sense, will do it. I think, however, like for us in the Caribbean, yeah, and in fact, come through next week, because I'm probably gonna, like today, yeah, I focused on the work of Brother Kemi Seba and the CFA Frank. I've been having a lot of conversations. I'm not sure if you've been seeing them online about patois, yeah, and the Creole that we have in the Caribbean, and the extent to which they are languages, okay? And we have to begin with asserting, in my humble opinion, asserting the legitimacy of the Creole where we speak every day and the Africanness of those languages, and connect them to our languages that are still being spoken on the continent and evolve them from that point, if that makes sense. Yeah, because right now, and like I came into this conversation by accident. Yeah, like, you know, I think what happened was a brother over here, a comedian over here by the name of Richard Blackwood, made a statement one time, and I did a response video, and in the response video, I ventured to suggest that Jamaican patois is a language, and people were challenging me on this. Yeah, so it got me into a whole conversation about the extent to which Jamaican patois is a language. And then you have to deal with the works of linguists who are identifying not only the African lexis or words that are in Jamaican patois, but also the sound system, the phonology, yeah, the sounds in the language, the grammar of the language, phrases in the language that are directly derived from languages like Igbo and Tree, yeah, and so on and so forth. But then also, wherever we are as African people in the Caribbean, there is a everyday way that people speak those languages. But then when you go to some bush and among some maroon people, there is a deeper way in which we speak the language, yeah, that I think needs to become the standard. Do you know what I'm saying? as opposed to English and French always being the standard. Go ahead.
I was going to say that I feel like the people who think that the Jamaican language is not a language probably only hear what people outside of Jamaica hear, which is uh, that which is so saturated with the English roots. But as you just said, some of the villages, English speaker, even if you're from the Caribbean, cannot understand what you are saying.
Sometimes, if me go to Jamaica right now and go off some bush, me have to listen hard certain time. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. And then even deeper now, when you go like the Maroon villages and you hear Cromanti, yeah, when them speak, it's a next thing. And because most of us are not interacting with that, and because of the colonial mentality that still exists, that says that English is the highest language, so we only see our patois in relationship to English. We don't see it in relationship to the African language them. So I am saying that the various different patois in the Caribbean need to be seen as dialects of a diaspora African linguistic retention. Yeah. The IT, the Trinidad, the Suriname, the Jamaica, you know what I'm saying, etc. etc. Go ahead, King. Go ahead.
It's funny because I literally was thinking about this just today. Exactly that concept that, like, with all of the different so-called Creole Englishes and Creole French that exist in the African communities in the diaspora, well, at least in the Atlantic diaspora,
Yeah.
probably just dialects of the African languages. They probably could be considered exactly that. So
100%.
you said that. But
go on.
I also wanted to clarify that you just said what I wanted to say much more eloquently. So you're concerned about not having explained linguistics of it properly, but you definitely elaborated on what I meant in a much more coherent way. And also, I took a page out of Sheikh Danjuma's book
Right.
after seeing you interact with him in Speaker's Corner. And he recommended a linguist by the name of Christopher Everett.
Yes,
I'm sure you would have heard him speak of that, right? I listen to Smash Rapper as well a lot because he goes through the middle nature, and so he brings up Christopher Everett a lot as well. I was listening to one of his videos recently, and he as well was also drawing the connection between Wolof. He basically was saying that the Nile Valley language is stretched straight across the plain, the whole Great Sahara region is stretched straight across there. So that definitely there's already work being done on that, and
100.
you're coming at it from the right angle. That's what I meant.
Yeah, man. And so at the moment, a lot of people speak of Kiswahili as a Pan-African language, and some people challenge it because of the extent to which there are Arabic loan words in the language. Loan words are in every language, yeah, and maybe we could do with a bit less of the loan words, right? Sometimes. At the same time, Kiswahili preserves a lot of the original so-called Bantu words and also grammatical structure as well. So there are all languages are always evolving, yeah, and developing. And I think the major point is what is the intention, and setting the intention will guide us to where we need to go. Ultimately, you know what I'm saying. And so I agree with your point though, in a sense of the comparison with the Hebrew language, because the reconstruction is not nobody of any serious note is going to claim that I saw the thing did speak, during the time of Moses, right? You know what I'm saying? I saw the thing go. So that there is what's the word? Innovation there. And that's fine, right? So we can definitely do that. And so people like I suggest there's a book, my brother, you'll be interested in this book. It's called Eloquence of the Scribes. Yeah. By Aikrama. I'm gonna put that in the I'm gonna post that in the chat as well. Eloquence of the Scribes, yeah. Let me see. So I don't know, so I'm now fabricate things. Yeah.
Another reason.
Eloquence of the Scribes, yeah, by Aikrama. I'm gonna put it in the chat as well. But it's an excellent book. So he explored. He's a writer, one of my favorite writers, creative writers. Read anything by him, to be honest with you. But in this book, it's a memoir of his journey as an African writer. And he explores a lot of the question that you just asked in terms of ancient Kemet. He actually reproduces. So one of his books, is a reproduction of the story in ancient Kemet of the eloquent peasant, as they refer to it, yeah. But he's translated it in like 6 different languages, yeah, European and African. All right. So he does them kind of things there, yeah. You know what I'm saying? So you'll be interested in Ayakri work, definitely, my brother.
Most definitely.
Yeah, man. So that name is in the chat right now, the major chat. Eloquence of the Scribes by Ayakri. Serious man, that, you know what I mean? So yeah, get into him, and his novels as well, like 2000 Seasons and The Healers and so on and so forth. You know what I mean? You get me?
Let me just say, I love to see African pull out book, boy. You know, people say we don't like to read. I love to see African pull out book, man. Hey.
Yeah, man. I have a full up book, yes. You know, reading is important. You know, reading is important. The amount of things I learn because me have a good, you know, and you know, sometimes like me buy a book, you know, because me not see book and me want them, but then something happens and I'm interested in a topic and I realize I've already got a book on it, or you know, a book that can lead me in the right direction. So yeah, it's very important to read. You know what I'm saying? Extremely important. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. Give thanks for your. I always enjoy your energy, my brother. You know what I mean? So I look forward to come to Trinidad and link with the eye proper. You know,
I dig. I appreciate that.
By the way, King, let me ask you a question. There was I see a video of a Abaluaye festival in Trinidad recently. I don't know if you know about it.
Nah, I wouldn't have gone if I'm being honest with you. But I don't know if I should really say this publicly, but I don't really But no, to be honest with you, I was worse to hide it, right? Yeah. I don't have a lot of faith, and I don't put a lot of stock in the, let's say, so-called Orisha practitioners in Trinidad and Tobago.
Understood.
My experience, well, I should say Trinidad because I haven't gone to Tobago to be to any possessions. But my experience with quite a few of them, the very few that I've had the misfortune to be closely associated with, quite a lot of them are predators. Sexual predators.
Right.
Quite a lot of them are attempting to cultivate, culture of personality. And they consciously hide information which is freely given in the faith. Oh, I shouldn't even say the faith. It's really just a philosophy. So
yes, sir.
You know, I don't put a lot of stock in them. But that having been said, no, I didn't go. Do you know where it was?
I don't know exactly. And maybe I can find out. So let me see if I can answer that question for you. But I do take your point, and it's a good thing to know. There are you know, there are sincere and insincere people in everything. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, when we say oftentimes, like when we're in the Caribbean, a lot of our, you know, spiritual system, so to speak, were pushed underground. So it gave rise to a lot of opportunism in certain instances. So I do so yeah, it's a job that we have to do to weed that out and get back to the sincerity of the team. Let me see if I can find out where it was.
Just to make clear for the audience as well, because I don't want to necessarily cast aspersions on the entirety of the community.
No, of course.
Speaking about 3 individuals, I won't name them, but 3 individuals in particular who I had the
misfortune.
You know,
I overstand.
They just turned me off of the community. That's really what it was.
Yeah. No, I understand you, King. I understand you. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. So let me see if I can find. So the theme of the thing was rebuilding our community through African spirituality, and rebuilding up Trinidad and Tobago. Nah, I can't see where it was. I can't see.
You're not seeing the name of the shrine or anything?
No, I'm not seeing the name of the shrine. Yeah.
No, but that actually sounds like something I would have wanted to be a part of.
Yeah. I'm not seeing the name of the shrine, but yeah, if I find out, I will definitely let you know. You know where it was, but yeah, it looked lovely. You know, it looked beautiful. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's good to see our African spiritual retentions, you know, in the Caribbean, you know what I'm saying, manifesting themselves, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, give thanks, King, give thanks. You know what I mean?
I will say,
go on.
I would say I went to Obatala Festival earlier this year, which
Right.
was
I saw that too. I saw that was in the road. That was a road thing.
yes, sir. It's a parade.
Yeah,
Well,
parade.
I mean, it's not just in the road. Obviously, there are
Yes.
rituals that will go on within the grove and that kind of thing before we head out on the road. But
yeah, all right. Share something with the audience about the Obatala Festival. I'd like to hear that.
Well, in the first place, I'm in the first place, I'm not the best spokesperson for it. I'm not a devotee. I'm not an initiate.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
And I'm not a part of their shrine.
Yes.
But that having been said, it's in the first place, it's very cathartic to be in a procession of Africans.
Yes.
Expressing their Africanity.
Yes,
especially through spirituality, which in Trinidad and Tobago has been maligned and continues to be maligned.
Yes, sir.
So that's the one.
Yes, sir.
In the second place, the community itself, I don't know its history, but at the present is populated by folks of the lighter skin tone.
Okay.
So it's kind of ironic to the eye.
Yes, sir.
That we march around in all our Africanity in the midst of all of these Wazugu, I think people call them.
Yes, sir.
So that's pleasant as well, to be honest.
Yes, sir.
There tends to be how do I phrase this? A coming together of the Americans and the Orisha devotee communities at this particular festival. Everyone I've been to two so far, one in either 18 or 19, and one in 2023.
Right.
And at both times, the Americans were there in the market zone kind of thing that's outside of the ritual house.
Yes,
is primarily focused on the Americans. So it's a good place to come and ask questions. In Trinidad in particular.
Right.
What else can I say positively about that? Oh, well, what I can say is that I ain't really see no tomfoolery. I don't know too much about the tradition, but everything seems to be on the up and up there. So if anybody is coming to Trinidad and wants to experience that, I would definitely recommend the Obatala Fest. That's in January every year because they bring in the new year with it.
Yeah. Yes, I. Well, give thanks for sharing that, King. Much appreciated. You know, it's important for us to know that these things are going on. You know what I'm saying? In the Caribbean, you know. As Africans, you know, we're Africans, but many of our people are in the Caribbean. We have to connect there too. You know what I'm saying? Especially for those of us who live in the UK, who are the direct descendants of Africans who were enslaved in the Caribbean and colonized in the Caribbean and lived in the Caribbean. We have to connect to our people back home. You know what I'm saying? As well. So give thanks for sharing that, King. I do truly appreciate that. You know what I mean? I do truly appreciate that. Yeah, you can feel free to stay there, King. I'm gonna bring through Rose. Rose, you with us?
Yes, hello. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, sis. How are you?
Great. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. Where are you joining us from?
Texas
in the building. All right. Give thanks, for all the Africans in the United States of America. We love you know. What's your contribution, sis?
I really appreciate you hearing me here. I work in cannabis, and through my journey with this, I've met so many people of our melanated skin tone who are heavily involved in this. However, I think that there's been some missteps in my learning. I've had to take a back seat and just make a lot of observations as to how everything is being handled here. And it led me to obviously start looking out into the grander scheme of things globally. I think a lot of the conversation here is centered around this diversity, equity, and inclusion conversation. And I've realized that it feels like a sham. It's a trick. It's something that, you know, they sit a few students down or a few employees down in different organizations and ask them how they can address these race issues or minority issues, and then they translate that into different functions within corporations and universities and whatnot. And then that's the result of what we get. But then they knew that we'd become satisfied with that, and it's just not enough. I'm seeing a lot of problems with different lobbying organizations, people going to speak at City Hall, and just begging white people for money and begging for this social equity, you know, and to be included. And I think that two things, involving yourself in that is important for us to be able to commune, because we're all still in a learning stage. However, it's important not to get caught up into that, because when you have to find the line of realizing beyond the threshold of that is considered participatory. You're participating in a system that cannot be changed.
Yes,
we have to create a whole new system.
Yeah.
We don't need to be redesigning. You don't go, what construction company, you know, or what government is going to then try to subsidize them trying to redesign a whole building unless it's historical and meant for preservation. No, they knock the building down. We don't need to be worried about the buildings that are standing here. The only thing that's worth anything to us is the land.
Yes, I.
And maybe the marble in Washington, D.C. But that's Italian too. So we're just going to leave that for now. It ain't going nowhere. They can't knock that down.
Yes.
What we need to do is go and come back. We cannot create a nation here as a minority. And I feel like, you know, although I'm not typically like, I don't have a YouTube channel. I don't speak live on Instagram. I like to write because I want to force us to read. We need to go back to reading. I very much appreciate all of anyone who has programming like this so that we can get a wider conversation going. It's very imperative to all aspects of this movement. However, I think that reading is essential. And
100%.
when you choose to read, you also have to realize, okay, my friend didn't read, but then my enemy probably didn't make time to read it either. Everybody can see these casts, you know, but who's going to make the effort to sit and read? So eventually people will find my information and find it useful for their different various movements. But I think that I'm using cannabis as the central focus, because I think that's what us Negroes care about. And that's what people are going to pay attention to. And as much as I love the greenery, there's a much more important mission in my activities. And so I've studied Marcus Garvey. I'm getting even more versed in understanding of all the different movements that have taken place throughout our timeline. And one of the essential things that I think people get misconstrued about Garvey is you look at the surface of what he was doing, they'll try to downcast him and say, oh, he was kind of like selling us out. He was doing this and that. He wanted to take everybody back. No, that's not what he said. And in fact, action and behavior is more powerful than his words. He was very intentional about his movements in dealing with white supremacists, and the boldest move I think that I've seen so far is him even having people of the UNIA go and distribute those pamphlets, over 17,000 copies of those pamphlets about white America, and you know, even that the KKK was involved in paying for, you know, one of the first ships in the Black Star Line. The surface understanding of that is not important. If you really dig deep, you will find and understand that the Yarmouth was on paper what the government understood to be one of those ships. But to us, it was the Frederick Douglass. That ship was the Frederick Douglass to the UNIA. And when I saw that, I said, oh, you know what? This is the key to the understanding. We have to move quietly, but not silently. However, in 2023, we have to find new ways of giving ourselves some space away from who is following and paying attention to us, you know, and because the conversation is meant for us. So we need to find groups where we can intervene and be a part of multiple groups, not just forming your own and staying within that. We have to form a group and then conversate with the other groups that are having similar movements to ours.
Yes.
And now there's we have, as African people, have created the first ever digital nation. Okay. It's called Afropolitan. It's meant primarily for startup companies of the diaspora. We created this. We created the digital nation. And it is not, this nationhood is not centered around we're in one physical place. We're everywhere, but you're creating this nation that is going to develop assets for itself and a network. We need to get back to learning how to formulate a network. The reason I am very Pan-Africanist, but I am very center focused in cannabis because it is one of our original plants. Going back to the beginning of our history, they will have you believing that the Asians brought to Africa. That is not true. Okay. They have found a lot of different evidence in regards to this, mainly physical evidence that are non-fossils. White people will have you believe that fossils are what tells you what's old, and that's not true. What was something that was invented, utilized for, is what we really need to look at. But in regards to that, cannabis is so important because there's so many people around the world who are subsistence living as small holding farmers, still in this plant, and they have no equity. If they don't know to keep those seeds, then their equity is being lost and it's being taken over by large pharmaceutical companies. And we have to develop our own pharmaceutical companies and versions of all these things that provide ancillary services to us that are important and for our survival. We cannot let that equity be gone. So cannabis is very important whether you smoke it or not.
100%.
Absolutely. And we have to, I'm trying to spread the information and history about that throughout my website. So
share your website link in the private chat, please, sis. I'm gonna share it live.
So at this time, I'm going through some technical development, so it's not available at the moment, but I've been active now for a couple of years.
Right.
My front-facing website, or my Yarmouth, as you would say, is inclusiveindica.com.
Inclusive Indica. Yeah. So but check that out, family. Go ahead.
If you be aware, if you are in the activism mind frame, or if you are beginning stages of organizing, or you've already developed institution, and whether you're interested in cannabis or not, my underground available site will be indelibleiindica.black.
I love it, sis. I love it. You know, I've been, so my family is from Antigua and Jamaica. Yeah.
Yes, sir. I just got back from Jamaica last month in March.
All right. So that's a powerful thing, because the Jamaica, because of the legalization processes, that have really been dominated by American law. A lot of the indigenous farmers in Jamaica have been and are being basically ousted out of the market, so to speak. And the same goes for Africans in America, as far as I'm aware. A lot of Europeans in like California are running things. But the depth of what you're saying is deep when we consider the number of usages of this particular plant and its various different cousins in the hemp family. So if I might be able to read something here, because like you're saying, whether we smoke it or not, but there are so many things that can be made from cannabis and hemp, on industrial levels. I'm even hearing of a more what's the word, environmentally friendly form of concrete, that can be made.
Yes, absolutely, called hempcrete.
Right,
they're already building it here. The white people are already utilizing that here, and they, in fact, they're so far advanced that they're now using that to print 3D printing hempcrete. And black people don't know nothing about that. They don't know nothing about that.
Right.
We getting behind. We're gonna have to get caught up, you know.
This something. Go ahead,
and clothing, we will also be going back to using it for our own clothing. The reason the reason they tried to really prohibit it in Africa goes back to the San people who were using it with the Quena people, and they formalized a dynamic economy between them before the white people got involved. And you know, or we'll say the colonizing empire, whatever. When they came in, it was important for them to be using it to build the Navy, to be able to expand and see all these different worlds, and using the hemp to form ropes on these ships. And that was essential in order, if you wanted to win the war, or have any type of power in the war at that time. Hemp was the most important thing. It was the most important thing before cotton. Cotton fields weren't present before hemp fields were present before cotton. It became too much. There was too much demand for it. You know, they didn't want to farm for it in the UK. So they created this negative reciprocity outside of the world where, you know, they're getting so much benefit out of this. And then the African countries were getting nothing. And I think the reason I really came in to speak with you as you had this opportunity, this moment, was because a lot of people from America, they feel like all this individualistic mindset of people from the outside won't accept me. They'll look at me different. The Africans won't really see me as African. Whether that not is true has no bearing on how African you are.
That's right.
Go prove your worth. No one is coming towards the English and American side in terms of philosophy at this time. Pay attention. We have the furthest proximity away from our Africanness as United States American and Canadian Americans.
Yes, sir.
Than any other diasporic country in the world, in my personal opinion. Though I've not been to all of them, there's certain preservations of Africanness within a lot of Spanish civilizations and cultures, because the Spanish and the Portuguese and the French, they were a little bit more cultured than the English in terms of their Aboriginal and indigenous connection. It was, you know, a little bit closer to them, so they understood certain elements of the culture important to keep. Cooking and materials that you have in your house, all different types of things. So it was a little more adjacent to how they normally live to preserve some of those things. And they still have native dances in Brazil and then throughout the Caribbean. And we got twerking. Come on now. If it ain't to an Afro beat, I'm not trying to hear it.
No, but see, that's a whole. I've had a whole heap of conversations about twerking and its indigenous or lack thereof sensibility. So stay tuned. We're gonna have that,
and it's in our soul, but we don't know it.
We don't know it, right?
We don't know it. Go find. Take the privilege. Take that privilege.
I get what you're saying.
And go find it out.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
Facilitate your own learning with those things. You know?
It sounds like what you're saying is that we've got the form without the substance.
Absolutely. I don't think that. I'm trying to help Black men get off the street and pay attention to the fact that there's opportunities beyond your 4 blocks. You know, and I'm not, and we're not even going to talk about gang life or anything like that. You know, I accept and love all of our brothers. What the important thing is that, you know, understand the different elements and levels of privilege.
Yes.
You sitting at your house smoking weed all day and you ain't doing nothing to preserve the opportunity for someone else to smoke weed 50 years from now without being persecuted.
Yes, sir.
You have no right.
Yes, sir.
We have no right to be that lazy and to be that complacent and complicit. And no, read.
I hear you. Do you know what, sis? I want you to stay tuned to this channel. Yeah, I want you to stay tuned to this channel.
I am. I just found you. I've just found you maybe a week or so ago, and I have just been obsessed. I watched all your Pan-African. Like you have, in fact, and I will even link to your information on my site. Through I have a section that I actually added some of your terms, your Shona and Kemet. and Zulu terms about different ways to explain African liberation, revolution.
Yes,
and I have a specialized glossary because I have a lot of creative writing throughout my site.
Right.
So and it's so much to absorb, and once you get into it, you'll probably like get stuck in it. So the glossary kind of brings us back to, oh, okay, this is what she was discussing and talking about. And there's different areas, and one of the areas is Aboriginal concepts.
Okay.
And so I included a few of the terminologies that you had mentioned right there. And I will link to you as an example, because it's almost like our dictionary, you know, of the terms that are important to the things that I discuss.
Give thanks, my sister Rose. I look forward to
Absolutely.
interacting with you more. Feel free to stay there. I've got a couple other guests in the building, so I want to come.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, blessings, my sister.
Yeah, and I can be found on Instagram at Inclusive Indica, Indelible Indica,
right,
and Lady Ella Citron.
All right. And
I'm open to collaborating with any and everybody.
Yes. All right, you're gonna get connected with me soon on all the social media. So
Thank you, sir.
Stay tuned for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. That's a beautiful connection right there. So you know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. There's gonna be a lot. I can see a lot coming from that connection there. So with Sister Rose, our Out of Noise poets are in the building. You know what I mean? You know we can't.
Yo.
Yeah, all them people, yeah. I come to all them people.
ShakaRa. How you doing? Yeah, we just tuning in. We're learning lots as always.
Yeah, man. So what are you like? No strangers to gotkushTV, you know.
No strangers, and we're so happy that we're seeing the works finally. Yeah, we're like, oh.
Yeah, man.
Missed you.
It's got to get done. Do you know what I'm saying? I feel like you all are going to be pleased with a lot of the developments that are going to come in the coming months and years.
Wait.
All them Regin, yeah. Yeah. All right. You know what it is? All right. First and foremost, yeah, because you lot are calling yourself the Out of Noise poets, yeah. So y'all need to let people know about the podcast and what you lot are doing and where to find you first and foremost.
Big up ShakaRa for that. Okay, so Out of Noise podcast is a weekly review of what's been going on in this crazy, noisy world that we're living in. Comes from our perspective as representing Black love, African love, power couple. Yes, and we're just bringing peace to the mic. So, you know, a lot of times people hold a lot of things that they're thinking in.
Yes, sir.
And we have a lot of extreme views that are just shared that are very hurtful.
Yes, sir.
So what we want to offer is a space, and it is a live event eventually as well, where people can, you know, express themselves, their thoughts, and then there's also a learning opportunity that comes from that.
Yeah.
So that is the ethos. So give thanks.
Check it out, family. Now I've got something coming for you soon. Yeah.
Hey.
Get me? I got something. Yeah, we got to talk about something. But stay tuned. I'm just marinating the thing, and we're gonna let it cook. Yeah, soon. Stay tuned. But yeah, family, Out of Noise. Yeah, you can check them out on all social media, but particularly check out the YouTube channel. Out of Noise, yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Give thanks.
And you know what? When they say power couple, like I've got this is like one, like beyond this being two of my favorite individuals, yeah. This is one of my favorite couples, yeah. It's like they're actually one being, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like you actually can't the one of them without the other of them, yeah. And as they're saying, there's a whole heap of noise, yeah. In this digital universe right about now that is promoting a lot of conflict, yeah, between African men and women, all right, and that's not to say that some of the conflict is not just, but a lot of it is not, and even where the conflict is just, it needs some mature and positive interaction to come to a significant resolution. And part of the problem is that there's too much single people on the platform arguing, right? We need some people in relationships, yeah, that know what it is, yeah, to sustain a relationship, right? Not listening to all these single folk that are telling you what a man and a woman should be.
Crazy.
That's not to say that they don't have anything positive to say sometimes, right? But a lot of these people are making judgments and assessments upon things that they have not put into practice themselves, yeah. And so that's why it's important to have a myriad of voices and people that are actually in functional relationships, you know what I'm saying, like speaking, yeah. And I'm saying that because, like, I met Nat now before I met Stella, and when I met Stella, Nat said, yeah, this is the Empress, you know? Yeah, and ever since then they've been inseparable, yeah. So they must be doing something right, you know what I'm saying? You know,
it's a lot of works, you know, ShakaRa. We both came together knowing that we were Pan-African, you know what I'm saying?
Yes,
and the mission was in both of our hearts, our Africa-shaped hearts.
When I first met Stella was delivering a presentation, fam. Yeah, that's what it was about. You get me? So I had to say, yo, not now, you're going with things, brethren. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I had to congratulate the brethren. You know what I mean? You get me?
Give thanks.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
So we love you lot. So yeah, so I'm getting into the whole of you lot's business. But what did you come on to say anything in particular? You just showing love.
Well, we're showing love, but
yeah, go on.
Yeah, no, ShakaRa's really just to big you up, really, like as a king.
And we're looking forward to the presentation that's happening
on Saturday.
It's just so important because we discuss all the time about the language barriers.
Yes.
That has affected our unity for so long, because we all around the globe have been suffering at the hands of the oppressors in a similar fashion. But the language barrier just creates this, bubble for every group. So we were literally looking at the map and we were saying, oh, look how the West Africa countries like Nigeria, where else was it? There was the English speaking places, and then surrounding them is a lot of the French speaking, right?
You don't have English to English back to back.
Yeah.
So it's strategic even in that way.
Interesting.
Because you can't talk to each other, but we still came through with Creole. We still came through with, Pidgin English and all of those kind of things. So we still have found a way of communicating.
Yes, sir.
So it was just to point that out. It was something that you were talking about earlier that I was thinking.
You're 100% correct, yeah. And now you know what the bigger joke about that is, yeah. So all right, so Fela Kuti. He developed a larger audience, yeah, for his message in his music because of the fact that he was speaking Pidgin, yeah. Pidgin was and he's got an interview where he's speaking about the fact that even the Yoruba language was, they called it vernacular and they called English the actual language, right? You know what I'm saying? So even like Yoruba is a standard, it's a language by any definition.
Yeah.
Right? But within the colonial context, it was not considered a language. Yeah? And Yoruba was considered vernacular. But then you have Pidgin now, and Pidgin, like Patois and the Creoles in the Caribbean, are often looked down upon. Yeah. What happens? All these Pan-Africanists come and say, well, actually, we should utilize this thing as a quote unquote lingua franca. Then the BBC, right, the British Broadcasting Corporation developed a whole news channel.
It's crazy,
right? That broadcasts exclusively in Pidgin. Yeah. They're literally writing articles, in Pidgin.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Whereas Fela Kuti has a song, called Mr. Grammaticalizationalism is Boss. Yeah. Where he's mocking the fact that literature, newspapers in Nigeria are written in language that common people don't speak and don't understand.
Right.
Yeah. Right. And so it's the man that speaks the best English, that is basically the boss, right? So what happens is we put all these things out there, and then the colonizer himself
recognizes
it and develops a whole institution to bring us into their neo-colonial agenda. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's also to educate a lot of the people that are going to be expats that are going to be put into the African nations.
Yeah, right.
They are studying. They need those tools, the food, they can cook it all. They're all over TikTok, man. It's crazy.
It's mad. Yeah. So it's like them put prestige pan fewer things before we fully do it, right?
Right.
Like, why couldn't newspapers in Nigeria have been written in pidgin from long time? Why
just what I'm saying. It's so frustrating.
We need their validation.
But in Sierra Leone, though, there is that because right? Because I remember Yusuf Jallo, the storyteller, was talking to us about the fact that they speak Creole as the main language in schools. Teach it.
Yes. You know what I'm saying? And I've been to Sierra Leone. Yeah, I've as you know, I've had the pleasure of going there. And it's beautiful in the sense of the fact that because I like just speaking patois to them is English.
Yes,
100%. Language barrier, and there's for many people don't know. I mean, it's a complex history, but there is even a Jamaican connection to Sierra Leone, in terms of return. I'm not going to go into it now because it's a complex history.
Well, the thing is, though, it's so interesting, ShakaRa. You can go into it if you want to, because literally the other day we were at Nat's auntie's on the Sierra Leone side, and they were literally just breaking all of that down. So they're talking about the Jamaican connection, and they were talking about the certain words that are within the vernacular that come from there, and then foods. You know, all sorts of things. So it's a big mix. And they were explaining the French connection because we couldn't quite understand that the accent that was in, you know, the tongue. There's like this way when in Sierra Leone tongue, when they speak English specifically, there's this French sound. So we're like, what's all this mix? But then she explained about the Yoruba link, and then
so it's basically
there's a Congo link. There's all kind of different links.
Yes, the Congo link.
The Congo link.
So Freetown was an amalgamation of, like, you know, actually, ShakaRa, you know, when certain people, you're getting into war and people are trying to go with the whole like Pan-Africanism doesn't work and all them thing there. There are several examples of Pan-Africanism working, and Freetown is an example of that. Like, you got Congo, you got Yoruba, you got the African Caribbean, you got African American and African Canadian, like all there.
Yeah, and that's not to say that there was never no problems. Yeah, because you know, I'm saying this, you know, because when you say them thing there, people like to give the impression that you're trying to say that everything went swimmingly, and not enough. There's no level upon which we're going to come together and organize on any level, and there's not going to be problems. But you're right. It is an example. And so we don't have to have pristine, non-problematic, the absence of problems for something to be considered a success. In fact, in many ways, the fact that we were to whatever extent we were able to overcome certain problems is actually a manifestation of the success itself.
Exactly.
Exactly. So it's just on a micro level, there is a degree of like tangible and recordable and measurable success. So I'm saying, even with Freetown was considered the Athens of Africa at some point. And that was the amalgamation of the different groups coming together as one. The problems obviously that did exist is how you're treating the people that are already there. But nevertheless,
but also outside forces add to those problems.
They exasperate it. In fact, they are the creators of it. But the fact that the language has spread across West Africa shows the influence of the diaspora. So when we're talking about the connection between the diaspora and the continental Africans, it's been happening through recordable history. It's just that we're not educated about it. So each time we're thinking we're stepping into something new, and there's always been divisions.
100% family. And the reality is that there will be more divisions. There will be more argument. But if our intentionality is set, then, you know, there will be resolution at the end of those divisions and those arguments. You know what I'm saying? It's just the nature of any nation building process, like no nation whatsoever. Including the United Kingdom of Great Britain, including the United States of America ever built itself in the absence of problems, trouble, argument, fight. Yeah, we're dealing with people, you know. These people have fought the most wars, among themselves and each other, and when them come out and colonize the world, So if them can do that, then we must can do what we want to do. Liberate ourselves, you know what I'm saying? That's what it is, So stay tuned, family. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna see more of the power couple around here, and we're gonna be back here weekly, on these interactions. You know what I'm saying?
So ShakaRa, before we jump off, I just want to say big up to you, you as a king, your demonstration of unity, the demonstration for love that you have for our people, and the tireless energy that you put behind everything you do. You are a very special human being, a very special African, and it's an honor to know you as a brother, but also it's an honor to share this path with you. I want to big you up in a big way, and thank you for lighting the fire in our community.
Give thanks, King. You know what I'm saying?
You have to second that one time to it. One time.
Give thanks, family. You know it's reflection eternal. We love or no. So you know what I'm saying? We'll connect. We'll connect. Family, this is gonna be the last one, the last guest. Because we have to move on still. And close off the show soon. But I've got DJ. How you pronouncing this? Ajay?
It's DJ
Ajay. And you say Afro Zim. So are you in Zim at the moment?
No, I'm not in Zim at the moment. I actually stay in South Africa, but I'm a Zimbabwean myself, you know.
So you're in South Africa?
Yes, I'm staying in South Africa.
That's just good. I want people to understand. So all on there, DJ Ajay, right? We've got Trinidad in the building. We've got Texas, Africans in Texas in the building. There are Africans in the UK in the building. And now we've got Zimbabwe via South Africa in the building. International settings with their fun. Go ahead. Say it for me again, DJ what?
DJ Aggie, let me do this for the other fans. For all the fans listening now. Yes, you know what?
Yes, King. Give facts for commentary. What's your contribution?
First of all, my brother, big up to yourself. You know, I've been listening to your shows all the time and stuff, and today I decided let me listen to ShakaRa. Let me join in, my brother. Big up to yourself. There's a couple of things that you mentioned there that is very important to me, and I'm happy you pick them up and you always run with it, like Pan-Africanism.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So Pan-Africanism for me, you know, these are the things that our leaders like Robert Mugabe, you know, late president from Zimbabwe, always have been talking about for a long time.
Yes,
you know,
yes.
And then we didn't actually understand it, and we ran away from it. And the problem that we have now in our society is any leader who comes out and talks about these things considered as the evil ones, the crazy ones. You know, we can talk about Julius Malema in South Africa. He's a Pan-Africanist himself, and you see that the people have got different sentiments towards him based on the fact that they are getting a narrative from the mainstream media.
Yes,
you know, that's very disturbing for me. And also, remember, I had the power couple. I just want to comment on that one. You spoke about the person who speaks the best English as the boss in Africa. Like, and I also want to put that in the context of mental slavery. You know, this is what we're suffering right now, which is something that I really consider to be very, probably, maybe arguably, probably more than the physical slavery, but it's one and the same thing. But the slavery that we are in right now, the mental slavery part of it is too much, to the extent that to fight this mental slavery, it cannot be done as the people at one go, but on an individual level, we do not understand how we can liberate other person from mental slavery. I do not know if you are getting me myself, but remember that is massive.
No, I'm hearing you, King. Go ahead.
right? And constitutions also in Africa. Let's talk about it, guys. I always love to use metaphors and just hypothetically speaking. Look at all the constitutions that we have. They were given to us, and we carried through with these constitutions, and that's why we have got these problems. Because hypothetically speaking, somebody comes to your house, my brother, steals your cows, right? But then what does that person does? He comes to you and say, you know, my brother, let's agree now from today onwards, no more stealing. Do you agree? Then you sign for it, then you agree with that person, isn't it? That's the constitution. But the person came and stole everything from you. But then you agreed now that going forward there will be no stealing. So you can't claim back now those things that were stolen from you.
Right.
So to these constitutions that we use in Africa, bro, it's something else that I don't know.
No, it's a major issue, my brother, and I feel like the lesson that we need to keep learning or keep relearning is that none of us are able to overcome these problems like in fragments. Just what I'm saying. One of the things that was very apparent to me is when Mugabe passed away, the most amount of love that he received came from South Africa. Stuff. So brothers and sisters in South Africa were bang on, like then they weren't having a bar in terms of negativism that was being said about him. That's not even to say that the man was perfect, right? But at the same time, I remember a brother saying, "I love Robert Mugabe because Robert Mugabe is me." And the fact that he fought for the people's land, and brothers and sisters in South Africa were very, very appreciative of that example. And so it just goes to show that that there is a level to which we're not going to overcome these problems just as South Africans or Zimbabweans or Zambians or Kenyans or Congolese or Jamaicans or Antiguans and Trinidadians, right? There's a level to which we have to develop some kind of connection, so that when the battle gets hot in South Africa, we know that there's support coming from Jamaica and Congo, and you know what I'm saying, right?
I get you.
That's how Europe operates. That is how Europe operates, you know what I'm saying? So,
because like what you're saying, remember it was actually the EFF with Julius Malema. They actually did their own commemoration there for Robert Mugabe when he died. And remember, Robert Mugabe was one of the first African leaders who was talking about the look east policy. You see what is going on in this world right now. Everybody's now looking east. Now we're going towards another different type of a system that is not being manipulated by the US. Look what was happening in Zimbabwe when the ruling party is saying we are under sanctions, right? People, they do not understand because these sanctions were being targeted and also weaponized towards us because these guys had the power to do it. And they did it to Russia. It didn't work anyway. But look, if you, I would say, most people, they do not understand. Once a country is under a money laundering list, that is the smart sanction that we have been talking about. It's not pronounced technically as a sanction, you see, but it's a sanction because what it means is whatever you were going to get in 2 weeks, right? You'll be getting it in 6 months or even not get it at all. So those are the sanctions, and I'm not quite sure about South Africa, but I heard it could have been added to that list, but that's something else. That's another level. How they've been. This sanction they've been working against us as Africans.
Yes. My brother, it's an important point that you're raising, and I know that some brothers and sisters may not be even too fully aware of what it is that you're referring to. And all I can say is stay tuned, because through these airways. By the way, this is a simulcast. I'm broadcasting on my personal channel. I'm also broadcasting on gotkushTV, but this is technically speaking a gotkushTV show. So if you are not subscribed to gotkushTV, subscribe to gotkushTV now. Yeah, if you're watching this and you are not subscribed to gotkush, GOTKUSH TV, subscribe to it now, because these are the kinds of information, yeah, that we want to be bringing to our people. We have to understand what economic sanctions are and how they are weaponized against our people on the African continent, in the Caribbean, and even in places whereby we are a minority, like the UK and the USA. The equivalent of economic sanctions is definitely imposed upon African communities in such places to ensure a retardation of economic growth and communal growth. Yeah.
Yes, I agree with you 100%. Yeah.
Right, you know what I'm saying? So we have to look into these things, yeah. So yeah, stay tuned. We're gonna get into the economic sanctions that were placed on Zimbabwe and the impact that this had on the nation itself in the attempt to reclaim the people them land, and also how the nation was able to organize to continue to feed itself in spite
exactly
the economic sanctions. Yeah.
Can I add on that one? Just a little bit on that one. I think a lot of people saw this Al Jazeera documentary that was just flying around regarding the gold, what they were calling the gold mafia of Zimbabwe. Yes. But the thing is, the fact is, we cannot sell the gold through the formal channels. So what would happen is, if you are trusted by the government, you'll be given the gold and sell it and bring the money to the government, so that the government can actually buy stuff, so that people can get clean water and stuff like that. You see, so most people, they don't understand that. The system, the mainstream media and the narrative that are going around, it's so disturbing to the fact that it has destroyed us. Then I'll go back to the mental slavery issue. Yes, we have to fight that, bruh. That is serious, and I'm very disturbed about it. Yeah,
100%. But so just to explain that, so the economic sanctions that were placed upon Zimbabwe means that it cannot do ordinary trade, yeah, with the so-called international community, right? It can't do legal trade on certain levels. So when you do that, you create you criminalize legitimate trade, yeah.
Not criminalize. I wouldn't want to say that word, that criminalize. You're just finding other ways how to.
No. What I mean is, what I mean is that they create. Not that the people are criminals. That's not what I'm saying. What I mean is, because the international law is governed by the West, they have the power of definition.
Exactly.
Yeah? Right. To decide what is criminal and what is not. So when people are engaging in ordinary trade, because they've put a sanction on it, it makes it a criminal offense, right? Quote unquote. Yeah. So I take your point very, very well. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, but so it's interesting that nations that love to laud the virtues of free market trade and economics invest so heavily in imposing economic sanctions on other nations. But that's another subject for another time.
Yeah, that's another. But you see that the creation of the bitcoins themselves, you find that they were motivated by people who were trying to get around this weaponized system of the SWIFT. You see. That's the thing, just trying to come up with something that is independent. Now we have got the BRICS that is coming out, and it's going to come up with another system just to go around this weaponized system, because it's always like, if you do not do this, we're going to do this to you. If you do not do this, we're going to do this to you. So you find that we end up with leaders who cannot rule their own countries, but they just have to do what they are being told to do, which is something else.
Yes, sir. My brother DJ Agie, thank you for yes, Agie. Is that say it again?
It's Agie, actually. It's DJ Agie. It's a shortcut.
Agie. Okay, Agie.
Yeah,
okay,
the fans it started like DJ Agamemnon, then the fans, then I called myself, you know what, let me shorten it to DJ Agamemnon.
Okay.
Then the fans said, you know what, that's too long, it's too difficult for other people to say. They just went with DJ Aggie. You know?
All right. Well, I tell you what, DJ Aggie, when I come to South Africa, I'm coming to your party, eh? You know what I'm saying? So
Please do, bruh. I'm
yeah.
always on radio Fridays and Saturdays on Afro
right.
Sim Radio. I think it's showing right now.
Right.
That's my link to the radio. That's my page. You can find all the mixtapes that were done by DJ Aggie over there. That's how it works. Yeah.
Thank you for joining me, my brother. All right, we're gonna move to a close, yeah. So I'm just gonna say thank you to the power couple. They've left the platform, but thank you to DJ Aggie, Sister Rose. Thank you very much for joining me. I look forward to interacting with you more, my sister, and getting into all this cannabis, this good cannabis conversation and industry and talk. You know what I'm saying? Your conversation is very, very interesting. And Sister Rose shared with us that her husband is also from South Africa and Zimbabwe. So we give thanks for that international love connection, you know what I mean, between the African diaspora. You get me? We love that, you know what I mean? And my brother Setem Hotep, you know, as always, my brother, give thanks for your contributions and your love.
If I could just make a request just before you end the show. I wanted to know if you would be willing or able, really, to do a show or maybe a series about capitalism and slavery and breaking down the genesis of certain British towns and the development of British capital.
Powerful. So one of the things that I want to do with gotkushTV is actually broadcast. Sister Rose was saying that we have to get back to reading books. I forgot to mention this earlier, so thank you for mentioning this. Is host is record study circles, yeah, like, but you know, with good quality, what's the word, production quality, if that makes sense. Yeah, good production quality. Yeah. And yeah, so we'll be going through books like Capitalism and Slavery. Even though your president, when they write the book, it eventually end up banning one book, but you know what I mean. What's it called?
Yeah. We don't make up Eric Williams, but he's a good historian.
You know what I'm saying? But he wrote a good book. Yeah. A very interesting and good book. Yeah. So definitely Capitalism and Slavery, how Europe underdeveloped Africa, neo-colonialism, the last stage of imperialism. You know what I'm saying? Books like Reinventing Matriarchy, by Ife Amaduimi, you know what I'm saying? All kind of different book. It'll be good to host like periodic study circles, yeah, but film them and have people discussing, you know, the different chapters in the book. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, because that history is still important. It's still very, very important for us to understand the connection between this economy that we exist within from its inception and the colonial processes, yeah, and how the colonization process was involved in it. So I can say to you, definitely, and once there is a dedicated group of people that want to actually sit down and read a book chapter to chapter and come and discuss it, we would definitely do that. So it may not necessarily be me as an individual, but I think it would be good to have a group of people reading the book and discussing the book, and we can broadcast that, yeah, to the masses of our people, those conversations, yeah. So definitely, and yes, brother Kale, certainly destruction of Black civilization, you know, is on the list. You know what I mean? It's on the list, yeah. Yes, so yeah, give thanks.
And then, well, the final thing, well, I wanted to piggyback on what the brother was just saying, which is that it's unlikely that our liberation is going to manifest in one generation. And so that our focus must be generational. We have to implement succession planning and like dynastic family culture, group economics, that kind of thing. And then finally, I've always wanted to end with giving you plaudits. I mean this very literally.
Yes,
you, among others, literally changed my life.
Yes,
with the way that you all discourse on content over everything. So I want to pick up man like Rock Raven, brother Sheikh Janchuma, as well as brother Issa. He kill it in power, and yourself primarily because your manner of communication, as well as I've said it before, I'll say it again. To me, you are the shining example of Black childhood. You are the representation of what occurs when we bring up our children with knowledge of self. I don't know you personally, I don't know your personality.
Yes, sir.
But I can see in speaking of the knowledge that you're able to disseminate, and the, let's say, the demeanor with which you bring it across. I really appreciate it. And it's changed the way I communicate in general.
My brother, I'm so humbled, yeah, by your commendation, and in terms of getting to know personally, I look forward to getting to know you personally, because when I say I always love to interact with you. You have a very, very, I want to say, beautiful spirit, yeah, and so what we will definitely get to know each other personally. I'm sure of it, yeah.
I appreciate that, brother.
Give thanks, give thanks, yeah, give thanks. All right, family, I'm gonna get rid of everybody in the chat now as we close out. So once again, giving thanks to everybody that came through. I appreciate everybody. Yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? It's been a beautiful show. And we're closing out right now, yeah. So I give thanks to everybody that came through. I do want to just give you a glimpse, yeah, before we close out. Yeah, Kemi Seba is coming on Saturday. So if you're in London, yeah, or even if you're anywhere else in the UK, come down to London for Saturday. Yeah, Kemi Seba. The details are the link is in the chat if you want to book your space right now. Feel free to do so. But I want to give you a snippet, yeah, of the contents section of the book, all right, because he's launching his new book, The Fundamental Philosophy of Pan-Africanity, yeah. So I'm just sharing a piece of it with Uno, yeah. Like what I'm going to do is show you the contents page, yeah. It's very important that we understand, you know what I'm saying, the works were gone, and the fact that people are documenting the theory behind their organizational practice, yeah. And so, yeah, man, one second, let me see if I can is there a way I can put this in a let's see if I can put this in a, no, I can't. I'm sure there's a way to do this in a, I'll try to do it in a in a presentation or display mode, but that don't look possible right now, yeah. But check this out, yeah. So contents of the rural revolution, yeah, and then you got inventory, looking at, you know what I'm saying, where we are at the moment, yeah, what is our current condition, okay. A return to primordiality, which is basically he's exploring this idea of modernity, right, and going into that, yeah. He goes into this in the next chapter as well. Traditionalism and modernity, and what progress means. We get thrown all these buzz terms like progress and development. What does that mean, yeah? And can we interrogate those terminologies, yeah, and what they mean in our geopolitical reality, and define them in ways that suit an African revolutionary intention. Chapter 3 is of the overall Black population, and you know, so some of the subheadings here are the global Black population, the metaphysical unity of Black peoples. This is a very important concept for us to understand, yeah, that the things that unify us as a people, we need to bring to our consciousness, okay. So that before we get to the material, yeah, there's a metaphysical unity that needs to be made manifest within our consciousness, yeah, through which we will make the material unity more viable, okay. And he goes through certain things where that is concerned. Let me get into examples. Yeah, the West, the kingdom of modern people, chosen from the Iron Age. So we get into a bit of history and how the West, yeah, becomes this bastion of civilization and modernity. All right. Then we look at how nigrophobia, yeah, manifests itself within that context. Okay, and how that manifests itself from the origins of Western civilization up until now. All right, and as Brother Kel was saying earlier, that requires us to look at the destruction of Black civilizations. Okay, then we get into some of how we're going to resist and organize ourselves against this thing. Okay, and so I love this terminology. He says, for a generalized kilombanity. Now, the term kilombanity relates to the term kilombo, and the term kilombo is a term that has origin in a few West African languages, yeah, and sometimes it's sort of a K. I always prefer the K spelling, but it speaks to the fact that when, particularly in Brazil, we developed quilombos, which were like war centers, centers of resistance, okay, theaters of war against enslavement and colonization. The most famous quilombo was actually really just a full-scale nation, which is Palmares, which developed in Brazil, which is a nation comparable to the size of Portugal in the middle of Brazil, governed by formerly enslaved Africans, and lasted for close to 100 years. All right. And so he's using the example of the quilombo as a framework for developing our organizational strategies in today's world. And so he says that Africa be won over by quilombanity. So everywhere we are, we have to develop centers of resistance, frameworks of warfare, and on every level, sociology and geostrategy from a metaphysical angle, that is the final chapter. And he says, and then the final chapter is called "So as Not to Conclude." So this ain't the finish. The ending of the book, all right, it is not the conclusion of the book, if that makes sense, all right, or of what is being said in the book, and so that I'm just giving you a brief overstanding, as to what is in the book. Now, if you come on Saturday, you'll be able to get the English-speaking edition of this book. Okay, it's originally written in French. There's a Spanish version. I don't know about the other languages, but there's definitely an English, Spanish, and French version of the book. And you will also have the opportunity to have the book signed. Okay. For those who are international, stay tuned, because the footage of the event will be released. We're filming the event, and so you will have an opportunity to watch the event. Okay, so do stay tuned when that is concerned. All right, my love, Ono. So we're going to be here weekly with ZIVANAYI. All right, for those who are just tuning in, ZIVANAYI is a word spoken in the Shona language of Zimbabwe. Spoken in the Shona language of Zimbabwe, and it means get to know. Get to know each other. All right, let us know each other. And so this is just a weekly show that I'll be running for the next few months, just to engage you as the gotkushTV audience. If you're watching on my personal platform right about now, subscribe to gotkushTV. Because at some point I will cease to do simulcast, and we'll be broadcasting exclusively on the gotkushTV platform. So that's why I engage with Ono, as the gathering, as the audience, and we will be and yes, Kushti, the book will be available on the day to purchase. So the book will be available on the day to purchase. All right, so do stay tuned. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a powerful event. We have French to English translation. You'll be able to ask questions and get your question translated from the English to the French. And I've even got people from Norway coming down to the event. Norway's going to be in the building. Africans from Norway are coming down to interact with us all. So it's going to be a powerful Pan-African occasion. I'm telling you, book your space in because the ticket them run out. It's free. It's free. But book your space, because we have obviously venue restrictions in terms of capacity. I want all of London to come down. Panwe. Not to say that we're going to turn anybody away, but we do need to gauge the numbers dutifully and responsibly. All right, family. This has been the very first session of ZIVANAYI. Let us get to know each other, as broadcasted on GotKush TV. My name is ShakaRa, and we just want to say to you, Tenda Mwadi, be thankful unto the Mother, Father, creative life force of the universe. Kudzai Mudzimu Mukuru. Give praises unto our great ancestors. Abibi Tumi, Abibi Fahodie, African liberation and African power for all African people. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. Special announcement. Entry for Kemi Seba live in London is now absolutely free. Kemi Seba live in London on the 22nd of April 2023. we bring you the Pan-Africanity Tour, featuring Kemi Seba, one of the most dynamic Pan-African revolutionary organizers of our time. You saw him burning the CFA franc as a powerful protest against French neocolonialism. You saw him ousted from Senegal and Ivory Coast by governments fearful of his capacity to mobilize the masses. You saw him embraced by thousands in his home nation of Benin as he served the community in the face of the pandemic. Now we once again bring him live to London with the launch of his new book, The Fundamental Philosophy of Pan-Africanity, taking place Saturday, the 22nd of April from 1 p.m. at the Bridge Park Community Complex, Harrow Road, London, NW10 0RG. Book now on Eventbrite. The Pan-Africanity Tour featuring Kemi Seba. This is an event not to be missed. Special announcement. Entry for Kemi Seba live in London is now absolutely free. Kemi Seba live in London on the 22nd of April 2023. We bring you the Pan-Africanity Tour featuring Kemi Seba, one of the most dynamic Pan-African revolutionary organizers of our time. You saw him burning the CFA franc as a powerful protest against French neocolonialism. You saw him ousted from Senegal and Ivory Coast by governments fearful of his capacity to mobilize the masses. You saw him embraced by thousands in his home nation of Benin as he served the community in the face of the pandemic. Now we once again bring him live to London with the launch of his new book, The Fundamental Philosophy of Pan-Africanity, taking place Saturday, the 22nd of April from 1 p.m. at the Bridge Park Community Complex, Harrow Road, London, NW10 0RG. Book now on Eventbrite. The Pan-Africanity Tour featuring Kemi Seba. This is an event not to be missed.
Okay, what it do is Sober Soldier salute. This is Stick from Dead Prayers with my partner M1, and you are in tune to gotkushTV.
There was empires in Africa called Kush, Timbuktu, where every race came to get booked. My success to you, even if you wish me the opposite. Sooner or later, we'll all see who the prophet is.
Achomi na jele gbojo kwe ni biane nyenko gotkushTV nyeyiradon. My name is Na Jeli Gbojo, and right now you're watching gotkushTV. Thank you.
Mina bakabusi nengre, mine pele obiama. Mina bakabusi nengre, me fele sama. Mina bakabusi nengre, mine pele obiama. Mina bakabusi nengre, me fele sama. Mina bakabusi nengre, mine pele obiama. Mina bakabusi nengre, me fele sama. Mina bakabusi nengre, mine pele obiama. Mina bakabusi nengre, me fele sama. Mina bakabusi nengre, mine pele obiama. Mina bakabusi nengre,